Payoneer and World First. In this lesson you're going to discover what Payoneer and World First are and also see a walkthrough of how to create your account. So over the past 5 years we have built a very healthy working relationship with both of these companies. And we now have our own reps in both of them. They are high-level reps and not just normal support. This means if you have any issues, we can expedite support. So your required information. You must use your real information. They both operate under the same regulations as banks. They will need to verify your information. And you will need a local address and phone number. And you will also need to prove your identity to them. Group 1 countries. Remember, if you are in a Group 1 country, you do not have to use Payoneer or World First. You can use your local bank. So to create your account, if you're in a Group 2 or 3 country, then you should create your account before creating your Seller Central account. The more information you complete in your Seller Central account, the less likely it is that you will get an account review or suspension. So Payoneer versus World First. Both allow you to be paid by Amazon, and both provide a US-based bank account number, and both allow you to transfer money to your local bank account. Payoneer, however, also give you a debit card. And Payoneer cover more countries than World First, and in fact are now partnered with Amazon. As you will see when you create your account, many of the countries that Amazon only accept third-party services in actually have Payoneer on the page. And Payoneer can provide you with an Amazon bank statement. Basically what this is a statement that Amazon will approve. And again, this comes from them partnering with Payoneer. So we are going to start with Payoneer. To go to the correct page to sign up, use the following URL. It's important you use this URL so that Payoneer know you are an ASM member and will give you extra help. And it's amazingsellermachine.com/Payoneer. So I've used the URL, amazingsellermachine.com/Payoneer, and it brings me to this page. Now you'll know if you're on the right page because you'll see the Amazing Seller Machine logo up here in the top right. And something to notice right here. When you sign up with Payoneer, you can actually get $100 back from them once you've transferred $1,000 from your Amazon account to your Payoneer account. Now it's worth noting, everyone else, they only get $25. Payoneer have upped this to $100 just for our members. So it's worth noting. But all you need to do is click on the sign up and get $100. And here is where you start. Now, if you've got a company, you can create a company account. Or you can just start as an individual. I'm going to actually go through this process as an individual. So you'd put in your first name, your last name, your email address, you re-enter your email address, and your date of birth. Now, for obvious reasons, I'm going to blur out a lot of this information. But let's go ahead and fill those out. Once you've filled out the information, you just click on next. And here is where you fill in your address. And remember, this is your own local address. Unless you're using a company, then you need to use the company address. Again, once you've filled all the information in, you just want to click on next. Now here you want to enter a password and then re-enter the password and choose a security question. Now because I've chosen the USA, it's asking me for my social security number. If you're setting up for another country, obviously they're not going to ask you for your SSN. So I filled all the information in and I'm just going to click on the next button. And here we're just going to fill in our bank information. Now at any time, if there's something you're not sure of, you just click on the link. You can see one right here. Why do I need to provide my bank details? So you click on it and it brings up a pop-up explaining why. So I filled out all the information and I'm just going to check the 2 boxes that I agree to their terms. You can obviously open these up and have a look at them. Once I get to this point, I'm just going to click submit. Now, I've actually completed the first part. You'll see here it's saying review in process. You will receive an email confirmation within the next several days once your application has been reviewed. Now, because I've set this up from the US and I've used my SSN, this will probably be very straightforward for me and I probably won't need to actually send them any ID. Now, it's worth noting that when you go through this process yourself, because you're not in the US, you might actually be asked to upload proof of identity while you're going through the application. If this happens, you just want to scan or take a picture of your passport or driving license, pretty much whatever they ask for, and just upload it. But just send them all the documentation they require and you're good to go. Now, as I said, this might happen during the application, or it might happen during the review process where they will email you asking you for proof of ID. But it's very straightforward and they're very good. If you get any issues whatsoever, then please go ahead and post in the community and I'll help you get approved. But it's unlikely you're going to have any issues. Okay, so that's how easy it is to set up your account with Payoneer, but let's take a look at World First. If you choose World First, use the following URL, amazingsellermachine.com/world-first. So let's use that link and go and take a look at setting up World First. Okay, once you've used that link, you're going to come to this page. Now, starting out, this is actually going to be the USA page. And what you're going to find is that when you actually select your own country, in other words, a country that requires one of the two services we've mentioned, then it's probably going to take you to the UK page. And there is nothing to worry about there. It's just how World First organizes things. For instance, if you're from Bulgaria, it's not going to take you to the Bulgaria page. It's going to take you to the UK page. For this example, I'm actually going to go through and use information from the UK. So on the page, I click on the drop-down box where it says which country is your business trading from. And don't worry that it says business. You can do this as an individual. So I'm going to select United Kingdom. And as you can see, it's saying here, because you're based in the United Kingdom, you'll need to continue registration on our UK site. And remember, that will say that for 99% of any of the countries in the list. Clicking on continue. Okay, so I filled out the boxes. As you can see, I put in my name, a username, a fictitious email address, and the password. Then you're going to want to put in your telephone number. Your telephone number is very important because it's very likely they're going to need to call you, but it's a painless experience. Remember, they need to be sure of who you are because they have to sign people up exactly the way any normal bank would. Now, personally, I'm not all that interested in receiving information about currency exchange rates, so I left the box unchecked. For the last option, you want to check the box. Again, don't worry that it says business, and then click sign up. Okay, we're on to the next page, which is about your details. So again, you just need to fill them in. So I pretty much got it all. If you've got a middle name, then add that. You can also add another phone number, and then you want to add your date of birth. So once you put your date of birth in, obviously you have to put your real date of birth in because they may well need to verify it. Then you just click next. Okay, where'd you live? You've got to fill in your address details. Now, I've filled out all the information, but I am going to blur it out. But once you've filled it all out, all you need to do is click on the next button. And now it's asking for your company structure. Now, if you don't have an existing company, just select sole trader. If you don't have a company name, just use your own name. Now, if you don't have an existing storefront, in other words, an e-commerce site, something like that, then don't worry. Just use Amazon.com and click next. Now they need proof of your address. So you're going to need to provide one of the following. Now you can always click to provide this later, but if I was to click on the utility bill, you can see you're going to have to scan it and upload it. Okay, now obviously I don't want to go through with that to go to the next page, so I'm going to click on I'll provide this later. But if you've got one of these documents, then go ahead and submit it now. Now, where it says what type of goods do you sell, you can put physical products on Amazon, or if you've got an idea of what you want to sell, then you can put that. It's not super strict right now. You may need to give them an example, but it just means you go to Amazon and give them an example product. For instance, I could put beauty products. And then if they ask me to confirm what type, I could just go to Amazon, find any beauty product and use that as an example. They do know who we are and will help you as much as they can. How much do you think you'll transfer with us in the next 12 months? Put 50 to 100,000 and you can put it in pounds or your local currency. Where did you hear about us? Very important. Although you've actually used our link, which is critical to make sure they know who you are, you also want to do it here. And you do that by clicking on the select button, scroll down, select other, and then just put amazing.com, amazing selling machine. And it helps them recognize who we are. Next. Okay, and there you go. It's actually set up your account. So a quick wrap up on what's next. So what we covered, the two services we recommend for the deposit method for Group 2 and 3 countries. In other words, Payoneer and World First. What's next? In the next lesson, we'll look at some critical guidelines for Seller Central. Your action step, if you are in a Group 2 or 3 country, create an account with one of these two services before creating your Seller Central account. But that's it for this lesson. Take care.